Hey! Okay, welcome to Citrus Collective. I'm Surrender. First, I'm gonna go give you guys the update on the It's All a Blur tour that I went to over the weekend, and then we'll get into like my moving situation and where I currently am with everything. And then lastly, also what I'm doing for side gigs and hustles that I've recently found, and like resources that can help others that are going through a similar situation or are interested to just learn more about it. Okay, so first, let me start by saying I am a huge Drake fan. Like OG. I'm talking about Degrassi days. And not only that, I am also I'm in like I think it's like his 1% or his top 0.1% of listeners on Spotify. And I've gotten that for multiple years. So like, your girl's putting in work. Your girl's putting in work on and off the court. Anyways, just had to say that. So, yeah, just to add context, a couple months back, I want to say the tickets were released like, what are we? We're in July, so maybe like back in like May. I watched the promo video. If you've seen my other videos, I acknowledge like it was very clear this was somewhat of like a summary / synopsis of his career. You know, I knew there was going to be different throwbacks, all the different evolutions of Drake that we've seen throughout the years. And so I was so excited because, you know, I've loved Drake at every stage of his career. And so, you know, the nostalgia really hits for me. And obviously I'm in New York, but I wanted to go to the Barclays Center. So if you don't know, Drake had like kind of two pit stops in New York. He had a set of shows first in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, and then a set of shows at Madison Square Garden. We went to the July 20th one in the Barclays Center. And you're probably thinking like, well, if you're in Manhattan, like why wouldn't you just go to Madison Square Garden? I didn't know much about the Barclays Center. I'm right next to Madison Square Garden, so we were like, why don't we just try something different and go to Brooklyn? Plus, I felt like maybe the stadium might have been like smaller or more intimate at Barclays Center, so like maybe you'll just get a better view. I don't know. There's no logic, rhyme, or reason in that, just FYI. So we got our tickets. I'm not gonna lie, they weren't anything special. It wasn't like we paid for like VIP or like, you know, those floor ones. We actually just got like the upper tier ones because it was already so expensive. I think we each paid around like, I think it was like, I want to say it was somewhere between like $380 to $430 after taxes each. So like together it was like really up there, which makes sense where he is in his career. So I thought it was worth it. I was like, no matter what, it's gonna be an amazing show because I'm going for him. So like months leading up to this, right? And then I think it was like maybe in the last week or so that it really hit that we were going. And I didn't know what to wear. I know we were gonna do it after my friend had to travel in literally the day of. And so like so much of us was figuring out like, oh, logistics, what do we do? Like, what do we need to figure out? And luckily it all worked out. Everything was great. We got to the Barclays Center, and so immediately we saw this massive line outside. I didn't know you could get tickets day of, but so we literally stood there for 5 minutes being like, are we just supposed to be in this line? And then it turns out no, we just need to go around the corner and then we can get into the stadium, which was great. It was so easy. There was no line. We just passed right in, and immediately we were like, all right, well, let's get drinks because we're already here. So while we're waiting, why not? And so we start making the laps around to get drinks. And the first couple lines we stood in were so long, so we were like, okay, let's just go to one next to where we're sitting. Hopefully, like, that one's gonna be shorter. We get there, and as we're standing in line, I like run into some acquaintances through work I'd known, which was so random. And then we started talking, and so we're grabbing drinks, and you know, people are approaching, you're talking, whatever. And as we grab our drinks, all of a sudden, this guy comes up. And I have no idea who this is. He's really tall. I was like, okay, hi, hello. Anyways, so he walks up. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing after this? I was like, nothing. Nothing, sir. Nothing. And he was like, cool, well, if you guys are interested, like, I think there's like a after party upstairs if you guys want to come. So we exchange information, yada yada. The show happens, and oh my God, it's amazing. Like, the set list was perfect. The transitions between the songs were amazing. The nostalgia that just hits. For me, this is like, you know, my prime years growing up. So all of the emotion is like rushing back. The energy of the stadium is going wild. You're watching the show and it's just lovely. The acoustics were great, the sound was great, the show was great, the visuals, like you really couldn't ask for much. And it was everything that it looked like from all the videos we had seen. So I didn't expect anything different. Maybe this is the first video I'll try to clip in scenes from like other things. I'll work on my editing. And so we get done with the show. And of course, we're all like, okay, let's start like figuring out what we're gonna do after this, because it's still kind of early. I want to say he came on at like 9ish. Like, it wasn't that late. I don't know. I think all the videos I had seen prior to said that he came on really late. It didn't feel late to us, but we also just like didn't show up super early. Like, we got there at like 8:30. So I don't know, you know, what late is, because it felt okay to us. Then, as we're done with the show, we're leaving, and we actually, I forgot what it was. I don't know if I called him or texted him, or he called me or texted, or we walked into him. But anyways, we reconnect with the guy. And he's like, yeah, come meet me at the spot. And I had no idea that this is even a thing, but like, I guess at the stadium, there's actually like not like a VIP in the stadium where you're having the concert, but like another area they take you to. So and I'm thinking like, where are we going? I don't really care. We're here for the vibes. He like starts walking us up, and all of a sudden there's these like people at the gate, and people are trying to go in, and they're like, no, you can't come in. And then all of a sudden he walks us in, and he's like, I don't know, they did some kind of weird head nod thing. And then we just get in, and we're like, oh, cool. And we walk in, and instantly he takes us to this room. There's like a full service bar, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 60 people in this room. Like, it's actually pretty small and intimate, maybe even less than that. And it felt like everybody was somebody, and we were just like looking around, and we were like, how are we here? Like, what is going on? A lot of the OVO crew members were there. Zach Bia was there, which is crazy because I literally made my video about him like a few days prior. Talk about manifestation. Like, that's wild. And yeah, it's just a vibe. And like, we're playing music, drinks are flowing, everyone's having a good time. It was just like, wow. You just felt the energy in the room. Like, this crowd was just like, wow. And me and my best friend were just walking around like, what happened? Like, how did we get here? And yeah, it was a vibe. And I don't know who I was feeling like, but at one point, like a little while in, I see Zach B, and I was like, oh my God, that's Zach B. I literally just made my videos about him. Like, can you talk about manifestation? And he even liked one of my comments that I wrote on like Rap Caviar's images a couple days ago. And so randomly I was like, Zach, hey Zach, like, come on over. And he actually came over, and he was so sweet. He was like, hey, what's up? And I was like telling him like how much I loved his music and his new songs that came out. And I was just like, I literally had it on my like recently played, like his image on Spotify showed up without me even having to click into anything. It was just there on my Spotify. And he like gave me a hug and he was like, yeah, like thanks for the support, like really appreciate it, what are you guys up to? And he was so sweet, like so sweet and casual and humble and like just so chill, which I really didn't expect. I felt so casual just being like, hey Zach, come on over. Like who am I feeling like? I don't know. And so yeah, I mean, of course there was like other things that happened, but like it was just a grand old time. And this was like the official It's All a Blur after party, like the official party. Like Chubbs was there, all the other random OVO guys, I don't know their names, there's so many. And it was just like, wow. Like the fact that this has even happened. I didn't even know this room existed. I didn't even know this was like happens in stadiums. Like this is a thing. But I was just like, oh my God, I'm so glad we got to experience this. So yeah, that was take me back. It was so great. It was so great. It was so much fun. Highly recommend it. If you guys go, like, it's so much fun. Anywho, that's my update on the concert. Quick update on the move. I am officially moving out of my apartment this weekend, so you can't see it, but you kind of can. My suitcase right here. But my apartment is in shambles, literal shambles, because I'm breaking down boxes, putting stuff away. Part of me is debating, like, maybe just getting a rental storage and, like, not actually going through with my lace. I don't know. It's just, like, such a hefty price to pay. Like, renting is just so expensive. But at the same time, there's a dilemma of, like, well, I want to be in the city because all the gigs are here. So that's where I'm at. I'm contemplating, do I stay or do I not stay? Like, do I stay and, like, take a break off for a couple months, go back home, or just stay? Not gonna lie, the anxiety and like the unknown is like starting to get to me. Just because I see my bank account and I'm like, oh, I'm going through this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm going through this way faster than I expected. And I'm like, crap. So I have sent out a bunch of applications, regular jobs, retail jobs, restaurant jobs. And then I actually just heard about this website called backstage.com where they have a bunch of side gigs. So I even applied to like Netflix's The Circle. I got past the first round. They were like, hey, send us a video. Like, we want to send you forward into the next round. And I was like, great, okay. No clue there. Signed up for a bunch of modeling gigs. We'll see what happens there. And yeah, so basically if you go to backstage.com, you submit a photo, you have to pay a monthly subscription fee. I want to say it was somewhere around $24.99 a month. But if you're actually landing these jobs, then it's worth it. And I think of it as an investment. And that's something I'm actually willing to pay for. In there, I actually just went ahead and took old photos that I have, or current photos, cropped them, made them into headshots, and then filled in my bio, all of my socials, any websites or video assets that I have. Like, for example, me building this channel actually helps because a lot of times for like voice acting gigs or anything video related, they want to see your speaking experience. So because I have this YouTube channel, I can actually just pull from that. And they get to see my presence of what it's like on camera without having like an official like portfolio of some sort. I essentially use this at my portfolio. So if you're looking to get side gigs, it doesn't hurt. Start your channel, some sort of maybe TikTok, whatever it is, social format that you feel comfortable with. And that will essentially lead into your portfolio to help you land some of these gigs. I have 2 in flight right now that I'm crossing my fingers, and I don't want to get my hopes up, but they are paid gigs. One of them is a skincare photo shoot. I think they offered somewhere around like $500 for 4 hours, which was great. I was like, oh my God, put me in, coach. And then of course is the other one is the Circle. I don't think that one's paid. And then there's some other random ones. But the skincare one was the most notable, that I was like, oh, this is so easy. Like, you can just go to apply to whatever you think is suited for you, and they message back and forth, and they'll tell you like, okay, we need you to do this next, or we need you to do that. Like, here's the logistics, here's what's gonna happen. It was great. Outside of that, I actually built a separate website for my like tech and product consulting services. I've worked in the tech industry for the last like 6 or 7 years. No, it's really like 8 years. Ouch. I've worked on building like direct-to-consumer brands for the last 8 years, and that's been like my bread and butter. So I set up my website, I got business cards. I'm gonna spend the next couple weeks going to networking events, getting that out, getting the word out, because I really need to start getting some cash and like generating like actual real income and not just side gigs. But I will say the pressure of the unknown and like watching my bank account dwindling has given me more fuel to move forward. Like, I do think there's something about what Elon Musk says about the laptop class of like having this comfortability and like you have this safety net so you don't really feel any sense of pressure. But trust me when I say I really feel the pressure. Oh, I'm feeling it. It is felt. So I've cut back though. Like I cut back on going out to eat, grabbing drinks with people. Like, I'll make exceptions. There's a lot of birthdays I have coming up in August, which I'm like, crap. Oh my God. And they're all my best friends. And obviously I want to be there because it's like they're going to be their 30s. And I'm like, oh, this is a really important one, but I'm so financially stripped, but it's fine. We're going to make it work. So I'm purposely trying to like save any type of like social outing or money for those important items because those people mean a lot to me. And then cut back on my day-to-day social life or going out to eat or spending money like, you know, just frivolously. Canceled a ton of my subscriptions. Canceled my gym subscription. I'm just gonna walk every day. I canceled all of my online subscriptions, like anything in the apps, except for the ones that I feel like are helping me either land side gigs or set up my business, because those I think are worth it. Anything outside of that, like if there's anything I can cut, I'm cutting it. And what I did is actually I moved a lot of my funds into a separate checking account just in case that there are automated subscriptions, and only moving money into my main checking account connected with my debit card as needed. So that way when they go to charge, if there's nothing there and I don't want it to be there, great, at least I've like reset my account. And then I've also turned on like overdraft protection, so in case they charge it and let's say there's no funds in there, that it doesn't go under, because we also don't want that. So now I have a true idea of like what subscriptions are out there, because even though I've gone through my phone, like there's random things I've signed up through websites maybe I don't realize that I have turned on, and it's really hard to get a hold of those. And for that reason is why I actually separated the two accounts, so that I have one where I keep all my funds and I have one where I actually like do transactions from. And that way it's very clear to me of like what's running in the background and what's not. Anyways, so that's that. I'm gonna be moving out the 31st. I will be back to keep you guys updated. In the meantime, enjoy. And if you want to go to the It's All Blur tour, highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. Show up.